In the church, sex never really gets brought up, and if it's brought up, it's wait till you're married, and that's the end of the conversation. As you know, growing up in youth group, the guys and the girls, when they're separated, the guys always talk about sex, and the girls never do. We talk about emotional issues, or we talk about that kind of stuff, but we never talk about the struggles of temptation before you get married. And so, you know, I didn't think of myself as very feminine. I thought that I was dealing with a very masculine problem. I didn't think any other woman struggled with it, because there are all these jokes all the time about, you know, how the husband always has to try to get the wife to have sex with him, or, you know, that the woman never wants to and fakes a headache and all this stuff. And so I thought that it wasn't something women wanted even. And so for me to have the desire to want it, I just didn't feel like I was even a woman, because I was dealing with something that I felt was not something that women dealt with. And that was hard, because in dealing with it, I felt broken, I felt not valuable, I felt not worthwhile, I felt like God couldn't use me for anything anymore. I felt like whoever I ended up with, whoever I got married to, wouldn't want me because I dealt with this. On top of that, I didn't tell anybody about it because I thought that there'd be a lot of judgment. I thought that people wouldn't quite understand. And so I went through it alone. And I went through this very, very dark part of my life where I was believing lies about myself. I was believing that I wasn't valuable, that I wasn't beautiful, that I wasn't worthwhile. And so it wasn't until the summer after my freshman year of college, I attended a Bible study, and we were going through Song of Solomon in the Bible. And this particular week, we were focusing for like 3 hours on this one verse in Song of Solomon, and it's verse 1:5, and it says, "I am dark but lovely." We talked extensively about how God sees all of the dark places in our lives. Thankfully, I don't think that we can see all of that, all the extent of the darkness that we are. I think we'd fall into a huge depression if we saw it all. So thankfully we don't, but God does. And he sees all of this darkness, and yet, thankfully, there's a but there. But he still considers us lovely. That verse probably means more to me than any other verse in the entire Bible. Because when I'm believing lies about myself, when I'm feeling shame and choosing to hold on to that shame, I can remember that and focus on that and say, I am dark, but yet I am lovely. And so I finally opened up to a girlfriend of mine. And I was really nervous about doing it, but when I did, she was like, "Oh yeah, I struggle with this, and we all struggle with this too." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, this is fantastic. Not that you struggle with it, but that, you know, I'm not alone, and I'm not masculine. I am feminine. This is a very real thing that women go through as well as men." And so, from that point, not only was this huge weight lifted off my shoulders, but I realized that they weren't judging me. But in that case, I can't judge other people either. That I can't be judgmental because I understand exactly what goes on, exactly the temptation involved, exactly how real this is. I realized that there is no other way than to be very open and very honest with people. Before, I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. It was very closed off, but I realized not only does that help me in telling my story and in telling people the things that I went through, but it also will help other people. And I've led small groups of girls in Bible studies before, and I've been very open about where I've been and what I've gone through, and I sort of see it as if I'm open and honest, not only will they share with me their stories, which are powerful and beautiful and inspiring, but if one of them goes through life not feeling the way that I felt, in still feeling empowered and still feeling that they are beautiful in the sight of God, if they go through life like that, then my story is worth it. Then what I went through is worth it.